I bought her house. And not to live in it. I bought it to dig up every lie she buried there. My name is Melanie. I'm 35. I grew up in a tiny Kansas town where everything looked picture perfect, especially her life. Amanda Bracewell. She was always the town's golden girl. Teachers loved her. Boys adored her. Parents pointed to her as the example. And the worst part? She was my best friend. Or at least that's what I thought. Until I learned that behind that perfect smile were things she never wanted me to see. After college, I left that town behind. I left her behind. But the past has its tricks. It always finds a way to catch up with you. And my past? It waited for me in a house with a white porch and a pink mailbox. Amanda's house went up for sale after she abruptly vanished from town, leaving behind all her perfect belongings and a trail of debt. I bought it. Cash. No one knew who the new owner was. I didn't need them to. All I needed was to get inside. Because I knew inside that house were answers. And this time I wouldn't leave without them. I'm Melanie, 35. And yeah, I know that sounds painfully average, even to my own ears. I'm a realtor. A good one. Successful, polished, predictable. The kind of woman who negotiates with confidence and walks away before anyone gets a chance to see the cracks. That's my specialty: control. I built my life around it. Around contracts. Around neat little closings. Around tidy endings. But there are some stories that refuse to end. Some ghosts that know how to wait. And Amanda Bracewell? She was mine. She was always the town's darling. The golden girl. The queen of perfect smiles and prettier lies. But I knew the truth. I always did. They said she left town because of a breakdown. Debt. A bad marriage. People love their gossip. But I didn't come back for their stories. I came back for the truth. And I knew it was waiting for me inside this house. Her house. My house now. I spent the first night alone. No furniture. No lights. Just me and the scent of her that still lingered in the air. Sweet. Synthetic. Amanda never really left anything behind. She left breadcrumbs. Reminders. Little trophies of her perfect life. I walked through those empty rooms and they weren't empty at all. They were full of her. Her photos. Her handwriting. Her shadows. And I knew she left something for me. She always did. It took me an hour to find the safe. Under the kitchen floorboards. She used to show it off to me when we were kids. This is where we keep the important stuff, Mel, she giggled. Let's see what Amanda considered important now. The code came to me faster than I wanted to admit. And when I opened it, there was only one thing. A box. Old. Scratched. Inside letters. All carefully tied in a ribbon because of course they were. And the first letter? It stopped me cold. Because it was from me. In my handwriting. Signed with my name. But I never wrote it. I stared at the paper, my hands shaking, my stomach twisting into knots I hadn't felt since high school. Amanda wasn't just hiding secrets. She was hiding mine. And she'd been planning this longer than I ever realized. The paper felt heavier than it should have. My name. My handwriting. But not my words. The letter was dated 15 years ago. Written like a confession. Like an apology. Like I had done something to Amanda. But I hadn't. Had I? Dear Amanda. I'm sorry I made you feel like you were never enough. I'm sorry I told everyone you were a liar. Maybe I was jealous. Maybe I was broken in ways I didn't understand. Love, Mel. I reread it 3 times. I had no memory of writing it. Because I didn't. Amanda wrote it. Of course she did. It was her style. Twist the knife while smiling sweetly. Rewrite history until you start doubting your own version. She'd always done it. Since we were kids. But this was next level. I dug deeper into the box. More letters. All from me. All in my handwriting. Confessions of things I never did. Gaslighting at its finest. Amanda had turned her childhood into a narrative where she was the victim and I was the villain. And the worst part? She left them here for me to find. Because she knew I would. I sat down on the cold kitchen floor, the letters scattered around me like dead butterflies. I felt like I was 16 again. Cornered. Silenced. Small. Amanda had always known how to make me feel that way. But I wasn't 16. And I wasn't small. Not anymore. I picked up the letters one by one. Read them aloud. Tasted the lies. Let them roll off my tongue. And then? I burned them. In the kitchen sink. I watched the flames eat every fake word. Every false apology. Every twisted version of me she tried to create. Smoke filled the house. It smelled sweet. Like victory. Like closure. But deep down, I knew better. This was just her first move. Amanda didn't play short games. This house? It wasn't just a tomb of lies. It was a maze. And she'd laid the traps carefully. The letters were just the beginning. I wasn't going to fall for them. Not again. I wasn't here to relive the past. I was here to expose it. To pull every rotten secret out into the light. And if Amanda wanted to play games? Fine. But this time, I'd play by my rules. And I wouldn't stop until I found the ending she never wanted me to see. The house wasn't a home. It was a stage. Every room, every drawer, every creaking floorboard, it was all part of Amanda's twisted production. She turned this place into a theater for an audience of one. Me. And the deeper I searched, the clearer that became. Behind the old bathroom mirror, I found a hidden compartment. Inside, more letters. Photos. Fake diary entries. All painting me as the villain. Me the manipulative friend. Me the jealous girl. Me the aggressor. Page after page of fiction dressed as fact. Amanda had spent years building this narrative. Carefully. Deliberately. She hadn't just wanted to disappear. She wanted to erase me. Rewrite our story with her as the innocent. And me as the monster. It was brilliant in a sick way. She knew I couldn't resist digging. She knew I'd find every planted clue. She wanted me to drown in doubt. To question my memories. To question myself. For a moment, I almost did. Almost. But not this time. Not again. I grabbed my phone. Took photos of everything. Cataloged it. Labeled it. If she wanted this to be a story? Fine. But it wouldn't be her story. It would be mine. I set up a workspace in what used to be her perfectly curated living room. Spread the fake letters across the table. Photographed them under harsh, unforgiving light. I wasn't hiding anymore. I wasn't running. I was documenting. Archiving. Preparing. I called an old friend Emma. She was a journalist now. Investigative. Remember Amanda Bracewell? I asked. Silence. Then, Jesus, Mel, what did you find? Everything I said. And I meant it. I sent her the files. The photos. The audio recordings I made while reading the letters aloud. This isn't just about me, Em. It's about how far someone will go to rewrite history. Emma was quiet for a long time. Then, I want the exclusive. Of course she did. Amanda always wanted an audience. I'd give her one. But this time, the spotlight was mine. And I wouldn't let her script the ending. I spent the next days pulling apart the house, room by room. I found hidden journals tucked into hollowed-out books. Old cassette tapes with my voice spliced into Amanda's. Fake messages printed out and aged with coffee stains to look authentic. She turned our entire childhood into a museum of manipulation. But she underestimated one thing. I don't lose. And I don't play by other people's rules. If she wanted to play games? Fine. But I'd make it public. Loud. Undeniable. Because the one thing Amanda never understood? The truth doesn't hide in shadows. It thrives in the light. And I was done living in hers. This wasn't just a house anymore. It was a crime scene. Every drawer, every hidden panel, every fake journal entry Amanda left behind, it was all evidence. And I wasn't the girl who'd crumble in the face of her games. Not anymore. I documented everything. No more guessing. No more wondering if I was overreacting. I had the proof now. Photos. Audio recordings. Notes cataloging every fake letter, every manipulated diary page. But it wasn't enough. Not yet. I knew Amanda too well. She never played small. So I called Emma. Keep digging, I told her. Amanda's bigger than this house. Emma didn't argue. She was as hooked as I was now. And what she found made the letters in the house look like child's play. Amanda never left, Mel, Emma said, her voice brittle. She's still here. Online. And she was right. Amanda had crafted an entire second life on social media. Different name. Same lies. Same perfect, curated narrative. A survivor. A speaker. An influencer sharing her story of a toxic hometown and the so-called friend who destroyed her. Me. She wasn't just erasing me from our shared past. She was still feeding the story. Growing it. Curating it. Amanda didn't leave because she wanted to escape. She left so she could rewrite everything without interruption. And me? I was still supposed to play the villain in her fairy tale. She never expected me to turn the page, to flip the script. But I was ready. I wasn't hiding in her shadows anymore. I was done playing by her rules. This ends on my terms, I told Emma. And I knew exactly where it would end. In the town. In front of the people who spent their lives believing her. Where she painted me as the jealous, bitter nobody. I called the town hall. Booked the old theater. Marketed it as a community storytelling night. They ate it up. Of course they did. Amanda had trained them to love her version of the story. Polished. Pretty. Painfully false. But they had no idea what I was about to show them. Emma and I spent nights assembling the presentation. Every letter. Every post. Every fake blog entry. Every manipulated DM. I rehearsed the story until it bled out of me like a confession. I didn't care if they pitied me. I didn't care if they hated me. I only cared about the truth. Because Amanda taught me something. Control isn't about being liked. It's about deciding who tells the story. And for the first time in my life, that was me. I wasn't scared of the town. I wasn't scared of their whispers. Let them see me. Let them see her. The real her. When the night came, I stood in the wings of the old theater. The smell of dust and cheap perfume filling the air. People filed in. Neighbors. Old classmates. Teachers. All of them clinging to the Amanda they thought they knew. I let them have that comfort. For now. But once the lights went down, it was my turn. My story. My truth. And Amanda? Wherever she was hiding, she wouldn't be able to stop me. Not this time. Not ever again. The town loved a show. And I was ready to give them one. The old theater was packed. Standing room only. They came for nostalgia. For stories of their golden girl. They had no idea what they were about to see. I stepped onto the stage without fanfare. No music. No frills. Just me and the truth. The spotlight was blinding, but I didn't flinch. Amanda had taught me to fear this town. She taught me to fear their judgment. Their whispers. But now? I welcomed it. I started with the letters. The ones she left for me like traps in that house. I showed them the handwriting that wasn't mine. Played them the recordings. Shared the photos of the journals, the fake social media posts, the doctored screenshots. The room grew quiet. The kind of quiet that feels like a scream under your skin. I told them about Amanda's online empire. About the fake life she built after she left. About the lies she kept feeding them even now. About the version of me she created, a villain they swallowed without ever asking for proof. They shifted in their seats. Uncomfortable. Uneasy. Good. They needed to feel it. They needed to see her. All of her. Not the Amanda they thought they knew. The Amanda I knew. The manipulator. The puppet master. The girl who always got the last word. Until now. When I finished, I didn't ask for their forgiveness. I didn't ask for their sympathy. I didn't need it. I walked off the stage, letting the silence speak louder than applause ever could. Emma was waiting backstage. She looked at me like I had just dropped a bomb. You did it, Mel, she whispered. But I knew better. This wasn't over. Not yet. When I got home, the town was already buzzing online. The live stream had gone viral. People were sharing it. Arguing. Some still clung to the Amanda they worshipped. But others? They saw the cracks. They saw me. They saw the truth. And that was all I ever wanted. For them to see. Amanda couldn't erase this. She couldn't edit it. Control it. Spin it. For the first time, I was the one telling the story. And even if Amanda tried to crawl back from whatever hole she was hiding in, she wouldn't recognize this version of me. The girl she once gaslit into silence? She was gone. This woman? This woman was dangerous. This woman burned the stage down. And if Amanda wanted to step into the light again, she'd have to do it on my terms. For a while it felt like I'd won. The town turned. The narrative cracked. People whispered Amanda's name now with hesitation, not adoration. Emma's article hit the national feeds. Podcasts picked up the story. TikTokers turned it into drama clips. They called it the small town queen who wasn't. But the thing about narratives? They have a way of mutating. It started with anonymous comments. At first, just the usual noise. But then they got bolder. More targeted. Accusations. She's obsessed. She's bitter. Maybe she faked it all. It didn't matter how much proof I'd shown. For some people, Amanda was still the saint. And me? I was the girl who couldn't let go. It shouldn't have bothered me. I should have expected it. But it did. Because that's what Amanda did best. She built stories so seductive they kept living, even after the truth burned them down. One night, an anonymous email landed in my inbox. Just a single line. "She's back." No signature. No details. I froze. Checked every account. Every forum. Nothing. But the seed was planted. Amanda was out there. Watching. Waiting. And I knew exactly what she wanted. For me to spiral. For me to lose control again. For me to become the bitter caricature she painted. I wouldn't give her that. But I also wouldn't pretend I wasn't angry. Because I was. I was furious. Not at the trolls. Not even at Amanda. At myself. For letting her take so much of my life. For letting her rent space in my head long after I thought I'd evicted her. Emma told me to block it all out. Let it die, she said. You won. But it didn't feel like winning. It felt hollow. Like the last scene of a play where the villain exits, but the lights never turn back on. I realized then, this wasn't about Amanda anymore. It was about me. And what I was going to do now. I sat at my kitchen table, surrounded by the ashes of the girl I used to be. And I made a choice. I was done fighting Amanda's game. Done reacting. Done chasing. If she was really back, she could find me standing still. Because this time, I wouldn't hide. I wouldn't spiral. I wouldn't play. I'd wait. And when she finally showed her face again, I'd be ready. Not as the girl who wanted revenge. Not as the girl who wanted to clear her name. But as the woman who owned her story. And no one, especially Amanda, was ever going to take that from me again. Weeks passed. The internet moved on. The town moved on. But I didn't. I stayed. I rebuilt. Not the story. Not the fight. Me. I started small. Coffee with old classmates who weren't afraid to look me in the eye. Walks through neighborhoods where people whispered but still waved. Reclaiming space Amanda once owned. And the strangest part? No one stopped me. The power she held over this town, it was cracking. It wasn't gone. But it was fading. And I learned something no one ever told me about revenge. It doesn't erase the past. It just gives you room to write something new on top of it. So I did. Emma and I launched a project. Not about Amanda. About stories. Real stories. Messy ones. Stories of people like me who'd been twisted into villains by people like her. We called it Rewrite. Workshops. Panels. Community nights where people could share the parts of themselves they'd been told to hide. It wasn't loud. It wasn't viral. It was honest. And it was mine. For the first time, I wasn't reacting. I was creating. But just when I thought I could breathe again, a package arrived. No return address. Just my name, handwritten on the envelope. Inside? A flash drive. And a note. Still playing, Mel? Let's see how far you're willing to go. No signature. No clue who sent it. But I knew. I didn't even need to plug it in. I knew this was Amanda's next move. Her last desperate attempt to pull me back into the maze. To see if I'd take the bait. I sat there staring at the drive. And for the first time in this entire war, I laughed. Not the bitter, hollow laugh I used to have. A real one. Because Amanda still didn't get it. The game was over. She just refused to admit it. I dropped the drive into the trash. Took a photo of it. Posted it. No caption. No explanation. Just the image of me walking away. The comments filled in the blanks. People speculated. Debated. But I didn't care. They could write whatever story they wanted. I had mine. And Amanda? She could watch from whatever dark corner she was hiding in. Because this time, I wasn't playing. I wasn't chasing. I was done. And that was the most powerful ending of all. Life after the war was quieter than I expected. But it was the kind of quiet I'd earned. I stopped checking mentions. Stopped searching Amanda's name. Stopped needing to. Rewrite grew. Slow. Organic. Without hashtags. Without virality. It became a space people trusted. Because I wasn't asking them to perform. I was asking them to exist. Just as they were. And me? I started existing too. Not as the woman in the headlines. Not as the girl from the town scandal. Just Melanie. I found a rhythm. Mornings in the park. Afternoons at the local library. Nights hosting small workshops that felt more like therapy circles than panels. People showed up. Not because they wanted drama. But because they wanted real. And for once I felt like I was giving that to them. I even let people in again. Slowly, carefully, dinner with Emma turned into weekly rituals. New friends, new faces, no masks, no scripts, just life. And it was enough. It was more than enough. Until one day I got a letter. Old-fashioned. Handwritten. No return address. I almost didn't open it. But something in the handwriting tugged at me. It wasn't Amanda's. It was shakier. Older. Inside? A single line. I saw the show. I saw the truth. But what if I told you? You still don't know the whole story. No signature. No clues. Just that. I sat there, the paper trembling in my hands. My first instinct was to tear it up. Burn it. Pretend I didn't see it. But I didn't. I folded it. Tucked it away. Because the truth is, I wasn't afraid of unfinished stories anymore. I wasn't afraid of what I didn't know. Amanda's game was over. But life? It was still writing new chapters. And maybe I didn't have to chase them. But if they showed up at my door, I wasn't going to hide either. I stood at the window that night. Looked out at the town I once wanted to escape. I didn't need to escape it anymore. I owned my place in it. Whatever came next, it would come. And I'd face it. But on my terms. Always. On my terms. A year later, the house was finally empty. Not just of Amanda's ghosts. Of mine. I sold it. To a young couple who didn't care about the legends. They just wanted a fixer-upper with a porch swing. Good luck to them. I thought leaving the house would feel like defeat. Like giving Amanda the last word. But it didn't. It felt like letting go. Like releasing the weight I'd carried for so long I forgot it was crushing me. Rewrite kept growing. Slow. Steady. Like me. No more headlines. No more scandals. Just honest conversations. Hard ones. Beautiful ones. Messy ones. People brought their unfinished stories, their broken pieces. And together, we learned to sit with them. To live with them. To rewrite them when we were ready. Emma asked me once if I missed the fight. The chaos. The spotlight. I told her the truth. No, I said. Not even a little. Because I learned something in all of this. The most radical thing you can do is choose peace. Choose yourself. Not as a weapon. Not as a performance. But as a quiet, steady truth. One that doesn't need to scream to be heard. One that doesn't need revenge to feel whole. And that truth? It was enough. It would always be enough. One evening, as the sun sank behind the town's old skyline, I sat on my new porch, my new life, and watched the light change. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Ready for the next chapter? I smiled. Not because I knew who it was, but because I didn't. Because the world would always send new stories. New games. New players. But me? I wasn't playing anymore. I was writing. Living. And whoever wanted to step into my story, they'd have to do it on my page. Because this was my book now. And I was finally the one holding the pen.